In the next section of our course, we're going to be talking about optimization. Website optimization is the process of improving a WordPress website performance, speed, and discoverability. This can also help your site rank higher in search engines and convert visitors into customers. Optimization is extremely important on a website, as it significantly impacts user experience, search engine ranking, conversion rates, and overall site performance. A fast-loading website will keep users engaged and can directly contribute to business success. You should make speed a critical factor to consider when optimizing a WordPress website. Key reasons as why speed matters on a website. The first one is user engagement. Visitors are more likely to stay on a website that loads quickly, leading to a better user experience and potentially more interactions with your content. Search engines like Google prioritize faster websites in their search results, meaning a speedy site can improve your organic ranking. Faster load times can lead to higher conversion rates. This is especially true for e-commerce websites, as users are more likely to complete a purchase if the site is responsive. A slow website, on the other hand, can increase bounce rates, where users leave a page quickly due to frustration with load times. Web performance pertains to the user experience of load time and runtime. As a practice, web performance involves measurable factors, such as the page loading time and the time it takes to become interactive, as well as the user's perception of how long it actually takes. Things you can do to optimize your website are make sure that your WordPress website is up to date. You'll also want to optimize and clean up the database. This involves removing unused data, optimizing the database structure, and reducing the database size. You can regularly clean up your database to remove unnecessary data that can slow down your website. You'll want to manage and minimize plugins. Only use necessary plugins and keep them up to date to avoid unnecessary processing overhead. You'll want to remove inactive or malfunctioning plugins. Make sure that you compress your media files. Optimize images. Resize and compress images to reduce file size without compromising quality. You can utilize caching plugins to store static content on the server. This will help to reduce loading times for returning visitors. Whenever possible, use a CDN. You can distribute your content across multiple servers geographically to improve loading speeds for users in different locations. It should go without saying, but you want to make sure your site is secure. At the minimum, you'll want to use HTTPS to secure the server. You'll also want to monitor SEO performance. This means that you're going to track your site's performance in search engines. So how do we measure performance? Core Web Vitals are a set of metrics that measure how well a page loads, interacts with users, and looks. These are all part of Google's page experience ranking signals, which are used to evaluate pages' overall user experience. The Core Web Vital metrics are comprised of LCP, which stands for Largest Contentful Paint. This measures how long it takes for the largest content to appear on the page. Next, we have INP, which stands for Interaction to Next Paint. This measures how quickly the page responds to user interactions like clicks, taps, and keyboard inputs. Finally, we have CLS, which stands for Cumulative Layout Shift. This measures how much a page's layout shifts unexpectedly, which can affect visual stability. The Core Web Vitals are important because they help improve the user experience. They also help Google rank pages in search results, and they help users avoid abandoning web pages. You can improve your Core Web Vitals by using tools to measure and report on performance, optimize for quality user experience, and address potential issues. Testing helps you identify performance bottlenecks. You can do this using various tools, including PageSpeed Insights and WebPageTests. We'll be looking at these in just a moment. PageSpeed Insights is maintained by Google. It presents synthetic results alongside the company's version of RUM. RUM stands for Real User Monitoring, which means a system that tracks and analyzes how actual users interact with a website. This will provide insight into their experience and performance issues by collecting data directly from their browsers. When you run these tests on mobile and desktop devices, they'll provide suggestions for improvements. WebPageTest is a more elaborate testing platform. It adds a bunch of helpful features on top of Google's metrics, including an environmental impact report, image analysis, a detailed breakdown of optimization opportunities, and an option to select different browsers and connection speeds. Let's take a look at how we can use these tools on an actual website. We'll be using the TerraDM website that we were working on previously. It is worth mentioning that in order to run these tests, you will need to have a hosted version of your website. The subdomain works great for this type of testing. I'll start off by going to PageSpeed Insights. All you have to do is enter your URL and click Analyze. The program is going to go ahead and run the tests for you. It may take a few minutes to get the results, so we will look at those shortly. These are the results we currently have. You can see that on a mobile device, our site isn't horrible, but we definitely have some categories that we can work on. As you scroll down the page, it will give you detailed information about these different categories. You can really dig in here and understand how your website is loading and identify areas that might be causing problems. As you can see, I have some red flags here, and if I click the triangle, I can get more detailed information about these particular areas and identify the exact elements on the page that may be causing problems. Under the accessibility area, you can see that I do have some categories where I could improve the performance of my website. When you click these triangles, you should be able to read through the information and see if this is something that you can easily change. For instance, I have a warning about contrast. There are some areas of my website where I do not have sufficient contrast between the text and the background color. These pretty much exist where I have the yellow button and then white text. So that is definitely something that I could go into the website and alter so that the website has a better opportunity to serve people regarding accessibility. It's definitely worth it to look at the various categories, identify where the problem is, and see if it's something that you can change. We'll go down to the SEO area, and you can see that I have some issues with not having meta descriptions. Some of my links do not use descriptive text. I have a bunch of links that simply say read more. This is not advisable because it does not describe what's going to happen when I click this link. In addition, I have some links that are not crawlable. Let's go ahead and take a look at WebPageTest to see what it has to say about our website. When you come to webpagetest.org, you'll enter your website URL and then you'll start the test. Once again, this could take a few minutes, so once this is done, I will quickly review the results with you. While this is running, I did want to go back to PageSpeed Insights and take a look at the desktop. Notice the performance score that we have for mobile. If I switch to desktop, you can see that the scores are quite different. So it is worth noticing how your website is going to perform on both mobile and desktop. You can see that the first three categories really are looking very good. I don't have the same sorts of problems, and that's because most desktop users are going to be on a high-speed connection where the file size is not going to be as much of an issue. We do have some work to do on mobile, and there are some things we can do on our desktop version of our page as well. But as you can see from going through the results, we don't have quite as many issues as we did on mobile devices. It looks like our web page test results are completed, so let's go ahead and take a look. When you first get to this page, it is going to give you a lot of information. At the top of the page is the performance summary, and we will dig into these areas in just a moment. But before we do so, I did want to show you the page performance metrics. This section is going to allow you to discover a variety of metrics that provide insights into your site's loading time and functionality. The first element is the time to first byte, which measures how long it takes for the site to respond to the browser's initial request. Start render indicates the time it takes for the page to begin displaying visual elements. The FCP measures the time it takes for the browser to render the first piece of content on the page. The speed index represents a composite score that reflects how quickly the page content becomes visible to the user. The LCP indicates the time it takes to render the largest element on the page. The CLS score reveals the extent to which the page layout changes or shifts during the loading process. The total blocking time measures the duration until the page becomes usable. And obviously the page weight is how large your page is in kilobytes. If you scroll down, you will see more information. There is a waterfall chart, and if you click on this, you'll be able to zoom in and get more detailed information. When you start to look through this area, it can really help you to see where you have problems with your website, which will allow you to be able to hopefully make improvements. I'm going to click the back button. You also have a current breakdown in pie charts, which can allow you to see what is taking the longest to load on your site. So you can see for our site, that is definitely images. And the page speed test is going to run through the process several times. So being able to compare these will give you an accurate benchmark on how your site is actually functioning. If we go back up to the top, and if you click on any of these performance summary areas, they are all links, which will go ahead and take you to more detailed information that talks about these various categories. It is definitely worth looking through this and seeing where you have problematic elements on your page. You can see for this particular website, the JavaScript files are blocking page rendering, so we should figure out a different way to load the JavaScript files so that this does not interfere with the rest of the page rendering. If we scroll down, we will find any additional elements that are causing problems. If you continue to move down on the page, you will eventually get to the "Is it usable" section. Again, this is going to give you an overall description of whether your site is usable and let you know if you have any serious issues. So you can see I have 2 accessibility issues, which are serious. If I scroll down, it's going to let me know what those are. And these actually follow what we discovered with our PageSpeed insights. They have to do with the color of the text on those yellow links. So that is definitely something that we want to resolve. And then finally, you can find out if your site is going to be resilient. So I am not going to go through all of these, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview and talk about some of these things. The main thing that you'll want to do with the results is to really read through them and find out where you can make improvements. As we continue in this section of our course, we will look into some ways that we can help improve our site and hopefully get better results. The last thing I want to tell you about the web page test is that when you first get to this particular page, you're able to plug in how you want the site tested. So currently we are testing on a mobile device. If I load this page again and I switch to a desktop version, this will give me different results. So I'm just going to do that quickly so I can show you what happens. I also wanted to mention is they have different servers that you can choose. You want to pick an area that is the most close to where you're at. So I am currently in the United States. I am picking the Virginia, US location to run my tests because this is going to give the most accurate feedback. And here are the results of the desktop web page test. You can see that some of the metrics are a little bit different. We definitely have better results in the page performance metrics, and we also have better results in our performance summary. Obviously, we can dig into these things and find out more detail. Basically, you're going to want to use both of these tools to identify performance issues. You'll be able to improve the user experience. In addition, you'll be able to boost search engine ranking, and you can continue to monitor performance over time. These are excellent tools that you can use to ensure that your website is functioning at the optimal speed and it is as optimized as you can make it.